We're here to watch, to listen, to think, feel, question, challenge, empathize, and change. I think these are the things that will unite us in this room, and it will be the essential ingredient to make this entire production a success. The clock is ticking and moving towards that final production. So I will constantly remind us to say yes, and.
This project has to rate up in the top 5 of the hardest things I've done. And I think will probably be one of the most satisfying. The text itself is different from the play that you think you know. I think I went in confident that I knew the story of Macbeth, and then sort of not as confident when I realized I didn't know this story of Macbeth.
The question is, how do we do Davenant's Macbeth for us in 2018 in Washington, D.C., or at Shakespeare's Globe in London?
But now I am checked with saucy doubts and fears.
To be honest, I think the belief that it would actually all come together is always the hardest thing. There are, of course, days where you walk in without an idea and then have a brilliant one. But there are also days you leave thinking, that didn't go anywhere today, and I'm maybe 3 steps back from where I was yesterday.
What we need to show is that the stakes are high at this moment.
It had to become a new play in my mind before I could really let my imagination run wild. That's what I've learned, I think, about how to approach it.
My lord, when honor called him to the war.
One of the most fundamental and sort of milestone things about this, as it lands in the point of history, is that women are performing these roles, perhaps for the first time on stage. And that has to be incredibly relevant to the way that we interpret it.
Let's go one more time. All right.
Trouble, and trouble.
The witches have become, in this production, and I dare say they probably were, originally the conduit through which the audience lived vicariously into this story. The macabre and rather distraught nature of these 3 individuals and the unique club that they sort of form is fascinating to watch. And over this last week of previews, we've done nothing but keep adding them to things, because their presence somehow allows you to really understand the context of this production. I think what we've done is created something that is brand new. I think we've created a sense, if I can coin a phrase, of total theatre, which I didn't think that Restoration Theatre was, but it is. We have a new style, we have a new acting style, a new physical style, and perhaps a new way of presenting Shakespeare to the general public.
We learned 2 important things. First, that it's really hard to do. It's a strange kind of performance that feels a little bit alien to us in its mashup of tragedy and jubilant music. It's Shakespeare, but not as you know it. So there's a little unsettling of what Shakespeare means. And it demands everybody to be at peak pitch all the time.
Hail, Malcolm, King of Scotland!
But we also found out that it's worth the effort because the audiences love it.
In terms of ticket sales, we have, by far had a bigger response than we anticipated. And I think, yes, we ought to pay attention to these wonderful restoration adaptations of Shakespeare, because they, like our current adaptations of Shakespeare, have a lot to say to audiences.